had enough Arsenal. How about some quick hits instead?
Let's go, guys.
Aston Villa are Europa League champions after beating Freiburg 3-0 in Istanbul, Jules.
Yeah, they were far too good, far too strong for little Freiburg. We like it. Freiburg they've got a great history. It's a great story again that they reached the final. They've got some really nice players, but I don't think they could have matched Aston Villa and the team that they've had. Certainly on the deck, 2 great goals to start with. Morgan Rogers again scoring the third one. Well done to Unai Emery and everything. 44 years they were waiting for a European trophy after the 1982 European Cup.
Do you remember who scored in the final?
In 1982? No.
Peter Wiz.
Peter Wiz, okay. 30 years since they were waiting for another trophy. It was incredible, really achievement from Aston Villa. And Tammy Abraham, who only becomes the second player to do all the European trophies.
Oh, Tammy.
Yeah. Who's the other one?
I do not remember.
Emerson Palmieri.
Of course. He's Italian. I should know. Yes.
Champions League, Europa League, or, UEFA Cup, Cup Winners' Cup, or now a Conference League if you want, and even the Super Cup. So, hey, let's see if Tammy can win that as well. Gab, you've been telling us all season long what a great job Unai Emery has been doing at Aston Villa. This is his 5th Europa League.
Yes, and I've been doing it grudgingly. He's been in 6 finals.
Yeah.
Of course, the only coach to beat him in a final had to be Italian, and is
Maurizio Sarri.
Maurizio Sarri, very good. Yeah. Only one coach has been in more European finals than him. Of course, he has to be Italian too,
Absolutely.
And it's
Trapattoni.
Giovanni Trapattoni from Cusano Milanino, which is where my mom's side of the family are from. Other fun Emery facts. And I think this is weird. As you know, I think Emery's kind of voodoo, and I just say this not just because he kind of looks like a baby vampire. I don't know how he does it in such difficult circumstances. I've been saying this all season. But I think there's some sort of nominative determinism here because he's won his Europa Leagues with Sevilla. He's won them with Villarreal. And now with Aston Villa. No, you joke. I want some nerd. I want Ryan O'Hanlon to calculate the statistical probability of this happening because I don't know how else you can explain this. He does not have a big squad. He finished in the Champions League spots this season. He has some good players, but I don't know, like our Pau Torres and Ezri Konsa. Do we think that this is... How many defensive partnerships are better this season?
They're internationals for the country. They play for Spain and for England.
I know,
but let's say like if he had a random team with all starting 11
backed up
play
by
for the
Tyrone
country.
Mings and
but they still play for the country.
I'm not doubting that.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting this, Jules. But you look at the injuries that he had, right? Remember, you're like, if Abuba Kamara goes out, then everything falls apart. Well, he's been out, and things didn't fall apart.
It's been a tough season in the Premier League for them, to be fair.
Bro, they're in 4th place.
No, I know, but we know. We know that
they're ahead of Liverpool.
They could not win the first 10 games of the season or something.
And not just that, they lost Monchi over the summer. We talk about Monchi Magic. They're under a UEFA settlement agreement because they breached financial fair play. I don't know if this gets them out of it, by the way. I think they may have to sacrifice somebody this summer again to work in those circumstances and to do what he's done. Obviously, it's a note to the player. Morgan Rogers is my player this season in the Premier League. You know that. But I think it's, you had Watkins who seemed to go off the boil early in the season, then he comes back. I mean, it is really a masterpiece. And I said, I'm not Emery's biggest fan.
No, I'm with you. I think he deserves it.
But for his competence,
definitely.
He's not going to win Manager of the Year anywhere other than in Birmingham.
Yeah.
But he should be in the conversation.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Tottenham lose away to Chelsea 2-1, which means it's going down to the wire, Jules.
Yeah, it will go all the way to the end of the last game of the season. They will be at home to Everton. They just need a point to stay up in the Premier League. West Ham will also be at home against Leeds United, who have nothing to play for. Everton can, I don't think they have much to play for. They need a miracle, really, to qualify for the Conference League. So both teams at home against nothing to play for. You would think that Spurs would get at least a draw. I think Spurs will win. I think West Ham will win as well. They just come up short.
Yeah, and Chelsea were not good again. I know they won, but it's not a good performance.
But they had to win, really. Reports out of Italy said that Max Allegri will stay at Milan with expanded powers, even a new contract, and possibly Leon Goretzka coming as a free agent from Bayern Munich. Gab, you must be delighted.
Yeah, come on. The Goretzka, Rabiot, Modric midfield. How about that? I hope these reports are wrong. I don't see. They're also saying he's going to get a raise as well. I mean, he's gonna get an automatic extension if they qualify for the Champions League, which they haven't done yet.
No, yeah.
It's gonna come down to Sunday, but yeah, I think this is all kinds of silly. I think the story comes from Allegri's camp to turn the screws a little bit on Uncle Jerry. I hope that's the case, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. Jules, we're not done. We have more quick hits.
Yes.
Now, we celebrated Arsenal, but this was made possible, of course, because Manchester City drew 1-1 at Bournemouth on Tuesday night. A game in which they were, frankly, comprehensively outplayed. Erling Haaland snatching the equalizer deep in injury time. Jules, I was not expecting to see Mateo Kovacic starting 364 days after his last league start. Is this going to be chalked up to one of those Pep overthinking things?
Well, I was surprised like you, Gabby. And for me, so I was going to say that makes sense. If he thought Bournemouth at home, a game they have to win to stay in those Champions League position, hunt, all of that. Very aggressive press, the best press in the league, the most intense team.
So I want a passer.
And you want a press resistant, more than a passer, a press resistant guy. So Kovacic, you can give him the ball. Usually he's very good against the press. The problem is there was none of that from Bournemouth. It was a very medium block. They were waiting for them on the halfway line. So then you have Kovacic in there, and Kovacic is a bit lost completely.
And he's not fit.
And he's not fit, probably. Certainly not much. I think he's fit to play, but not much fit, absolutely. And for me, to leave Shecky on the bench for a game like this, if you wanted Kovacic, okay, find a way of playing Kovacic, but don't put Shecky on the bench because that was really embarrassing.
Well, find a way to play Kovacic means would have meant dropping Roger and Silva. So like,
or put Silva wide if you really wanted.
Yeah, I suppose you could.
Because Semenyo was not very good at all either. Once again,
no. Yeah, I think he's going to look back on this
with
a lot of regret because you know what? Like maybe Arsenal would have won the title anyway. But they still have to go out and perform with the Champions League in the back of their minds and everything and the bottle and all this stuff. And yeah, you threw it away there.
Yeah, I agree. And on Monday night as well, Gabby, the Daily Mail reported first as definitive the news that Pep is leaving at the end of the season. Then most of the media confirmed it within minutes, including the ESPN website, of course. Pep simply said that he would talk to the owner and I don't think he was too happy that the story broke like it did. I think he wanted to keep it for Sunday.
So look, we've all been saying this because it's what everybody's been told that he was leaving, but it was never confirmed. I think you have a right to go out, especially after what he's done, on your terms with you dictating this. The Daily Mail said sponsors have been attributed to, they didn't just say, oh, look, we've heard these rumors for so long. There's no firm denial. Let's run with it, right? They said some sponsors have been told that Pep is leaving. Doesn't fully add up to me because why does a sponsor need to be told that Pep is leaving? Also, most of your sponsors are Abu Dhabi friends anyway. Like you can, However, Pep should have had the right. If anybody at Manchester City told the sponsor this, they should find out who it is and discipline them because it's not fair to Pep. Could he have played this differently? Could he have come out? Should he have come out 2 weeks ago and said, hey guys, I'm leaving?
We knew
I don't
a few
know.
weeks ago.
And even now saying, well, I'll talk to the owner. I'll be really curious. I wonder. He surprised us in the past. What if he changes his mind? All right. Okay. All right. You got that on video. I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore, frankly, about this situation, right?
What do you mean?
I cannot believe somebody in Manchester City would screw him over like this. By telling a sponsor.
We were told by ESPN back in March already that.
But we weren't told by Manchester City. That's the main thing.
It was known by everyone. I'm even surprised it took that long to come out.
So why didn't Pep just come out and say it?
He should have said it. Maybe he thought he could keep it until the end. You don't keep something like this. It's not possible.
And I think, and he said it had zero impact on the players. I don't know if it's true. And every indication I've had from the people who have access to the players that I talked to say that he never sat down with the players and said, hey, I'm leaving. Even
he told them after Monday night, yeah.
I would feel a little let down as well.
Maybe. Yeah,
but
maybe.
Anyway.
Maybe.
Jules, here were some words I never thought I'd say. Bournemouth can still qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah, they need a bit of help from Manchester City on one side and Liverpool on the other side because now that Aston Villa have won the Europa League, that means 6th place in the Premier League can qualify you to the Champions League. So Bournemouth right now. But for that, they need Aston Villa to finish 5th. Not 4th, but 5th. And right now, Villa are 4th. So they need to lose at City and Liverpool to win at home against Brentford to overtake Villa. So Liverpool will finish 4th, Villa 5th. And that 5th place would mean that 6th place would qualify Bournemouth or potentially Brighton even. They're still in a shout for it. for the Champions League.
Bournemouth would need to win or draw against Forest. They can even lose as long as Brighton don't beat Manchester United.
Exactly. But one of the two. But for that, Villa have to lose and to finish in 5th place. Speaking of Pep, is he really being linked to the Italy job? And would you like him to take over the Italy job?
I don't know what he'd be like as a national team manager. I don't know that that's his forte, in part because of decisions he makes in one-off games, and he doesn't have a chance to work with the players. But obviously far better than what we've had in Italy.
I guess. Not hard to do.
I think right now it's looking increasingly like Antonio Conte with Roberto Mancini as the alternative. June 22nd, elections for the FA. I think things will become clear after that. Jules, we have a decision in the Spygate case.
Wow.
Southampton are out. OUT out. They were thrown out, and then they had their appeal, which somehow they wrapped everything up in one day because it's so important to have everything done by Saturday. You can't mess with anyone's schedules. So stupid. Anyway, it's going to be Middlesbrough facing Hull on Saturday for a place in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think a lot of people called for it. You might find it a bit severe that they get chucked out because they spied on the training 2 days before the game against the first leg against Middlesbrough in the semi-final. They admitted to have done it before in 2 more occasions. There's a lot of stories going around. Stories telling us, for example, that the analyst that went spying was sent spying before
William Salt
before another championship game where he actually disguised himself and dressed up as in the colors of the team where that championship team was training, which was on another training ground. So stuff like that, I think they've done it far more than 3 times, really. And I think for me, I never want to see Tonda Eker, so the Southampton current manager who was behind all of it, who told the analyst to go and spy. I never want to see him coach again. And I think it is the right call that they made. It's a tough call. And then Southampton appealed, and their appeal was rejected. Like you said, Gabby, I think it's the right decision. I don't know what you think, but...
So Tonda Eker was the assistant coach at Genoa between 2022 and 2024, I think, under Alexander Blessin, when they were owned by the lovable 777 group.
Yeah.
And, of course, now there's allegations, suggestions that he was up to this as well. And there's clubs that are mulling legal action there, too.
Yeah.
He needs to speak.
Surprised.
He needs to come out and say something.
Gab, the Daily Mail report that some Southampton players are actually considering legal action against their own club over unpaid bonuses.
Yeah, this seems to me like a stretch. The idea is that they get like £250,000 if they get promoted, and this will cost them a chance at promotion.
Yeah, which is true.
It's true. I don't think it's a basis to sue. It seems like a spurious lawsuit, but certainly call out what you know. I mean, our producer Freddie was telling us a story about listening to Flynn Downs on the radio talking about, it's amazing when we train under Eckert, he seems to know exactly what the opposition are going to do. Well, hey, might these things be related?